What food should you actually eat if you want to lose weight? Chicken and rice? Just salads? Carbs? Well, the truth is that weight loss is not about what exactly you eat. It's about how much you eat. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to think about food for fat loss, so you can stop stressing about what's clean or bad and just start making progress. So the first thing to talk about is misconceptions. Here's what most people get wrong. They think fat loss is eating just healthy foods, but it's possible to eat the healthiest diet in the world and still not lose weight. This will happen if you're not in a calorie deficit. On the flip side, you can technically eat pizza and lose weight as long as you're eating fewer calories than what you're burning. Now, I am not saying eat junk food all day, but what I am saying is calories and protein matter a lot more than which specific foods you choose to eat. So let me break down calories. Well, you want to think about your body like a budget, okay? This line here is going to represent the fat loss line. If you finish the day below this line, then you lose weight. If you finish it above it, then you gain weight. Now, in terms of calories, if you consume more than what you burn in a day, you gain weight. And if you consume less calories than what you burn in a day, then you lose weight. So let's say on day one, you eat 3,000 calories, okay? That means that you need to burn over 3,000 to lose weight. So if on the first day you only burn 2,500, then you finish above the fat loss line, and that means that you're going to gain weight. But if on the second day you eat 3,000 again, however, you might burn 3,500, you finish below the line, and so you're going to lose weight. So the goal for fat loss is to eat slightly fewer calories than your body needs. You want to be in about a 300 to 500 calorie deficit. You don't need to starve, you just need to be consistent. Now, let me tell you why eating protein is a game changer, because the one thing I do recommend is eating a lot of protein. So protein is there because it's going to help you build muscle. It can also provide energy as well. However, it's more for building muscle. And so the first reason why you should consume protein is that it keeps you full. Protein's more satiating than, say, carbs, for example, and so you're going to feel fuller for longer if you eat more protein. Also, if you're losing fat, it's very easy to lose muscle if you're not eating enough protein. So, eating protein keeps your muscle, which is what you want. You don't want to be stick thin. You want to keep the muscle as you lose weight. A very minute bonus is that it takes longer to digest than carbs, okay? So technically it means that your body will burn more calories through digestion. I would advise, especially during fat loss, eat somewhere around 1 gram per pound of body weight. That way you're going to keep the muscle as you lose the fat. So for most people this means about 130 to 180 grams a day. Now, what foods contain a lot of protein? You've got stuff like meat, you've got stuff like fish, you've got plant protein, you've got eggs. The food doesn't really matter as long as you're hitting your protein target. Now, what should you eat? Well, obviously some foods are going to make it easier to hit your protein and calorie targets because they'll fill you up more with actual less calories. Let's talk about food that you definitely should eat. You want a lean protein source. So by that, I mean stuff like chicken, turkey, minced beef, that sort of thing. Maybe some low-fat yogurt. Skyr yogurt is a great option. Then you've also got high-volume carbs. So that's things like rice, oats, potatoes. They don't actually contain a lot of calories for the amount that you're eating. You also want lots of veg because that contains a lot of fiber, which again keeps you full for longer. And for the amount of volume you can have of them, there's a lot less calories than what you think. And also for general health, you want to have healthy fats. So a lot of people think that you should cut out fats completely because that's going to get you fat. That's not true. If you eat just the right amount of healthy fats, that will just support your general health and well-being. So things like nuts, olive oil, eggs, those sorts of things are very good. And then around all of that, you want to fit in foods that you actually love, because you don't need to cut out everything. It's all about hitting the calories. And so if you've got room for foods that you love as well, put those in there. You don't need to ban things like chocolate or bread or whatever it is. Just be mindful of your portions. Now, what foods should you avoid? Well, there is some foods that will make fat loss harder. As a general rule, anything that's high calorie with low satiety, so stuff like biscuits, crisps, creamy sauces, those things have a lot of calories but won't actually make you feel very full, which means you can have a lot less of them to hit your calories. And obviously when you're losing fat, you want to have as much food as possible because then you can still feel like you're eating enough. Another thing there is liquid calories. Think of fruit juices, sugary coffees, maybe that frappuccino from Starbucks, those sorts of things. Those are very high calorie, and so they're very easy to consume without feeling like you're actually eating very much. And that's where a lot of people fall off, because they'll have a lot of high calorie drinks and not realizing that also adds to their total calories throughout the day, meaning they're going to lose less fat. And like I said, it's very easy to rack up this stuff without actually filling yourself up. Doesn't mean you can't have them, it just means you need to be very wary of their impact. Okay, so we've covered things that you should and shouldn't eat. Let me give you a sample day of eating, just so you can get a rough idea of what I eat in a day to lose weight and what maybe you could potentially add into your day. So currently I'm eating 2,250-ish calories roughly a day to lose weight. In that I have 6 meals. Now that surprises a lot of people, but splitting it up like that means that I never actually feel that hungry. Yes, there's times where I feel hungry, but that's when I have a coffee. Now before I cover this, I have actually made a video on my full day of eating, so go back a few videos and watch that. But to sum it up, meal 1 is oats with protein and fruit and almond butter. That just means that I start their day off with a lot of carbs, which will just give me energy, and they're slow release carbs, so I can get energy for longer. I'll often have this before my workout. Meal 2, minced beef with veg. This is very low on carbs because I've had carbs in my first meal. Then meal 3, I have scrambled eggs on toast. So meal 4, I have a protein shake and banana. Meal 5 is chicken and rice. And then meal 6 is yogurt and honey. So you can see that in my full day of eating, that's actually a lot of food. But you'll see most of it is very satiating and high volume, which means that I can eat a lot more of it and still hit the same amount of calories. If I threw things like a pizza in there or maybe a burger, I'm going to rack up those calories a lot quicker than I want to. So yeah, please stop asking what foods should you eat for fat loss. Like I've said, it's not about the foods you eat specifically, it's about how much of it you eat during a day. Instead, you should be asking, am I in a deficit? Am I hitting enough protein? Can I actually stick to this? Because there's ways you can structure your diet that will make it easier to stick to. And then along with that, is this sustainable? Because you're in it for the long run. This isn't something that you can stick to for a week and then lose the fat. It's going to be something that you have to stick to for potentially months at a time. I promise you, if you get those right, then you'll be on track. Anyway, like the video if this helped. Comment below and let me know one food that you thought you had to give up to lose weight. And if you need help with a plan that's actually realistic, there's going to be a link below for my online coaching. I can help with all your planning, nutrition, training, all of that. So there's a link below for that. Or if you want some free help, I've got 30 ways and 30 days to maximize your gym gains down below as well. But anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.